Many a man has pondered, many a woman has contemplated. What is the reason for existence? But more importantly, when will Bitcoin finally become something that my friends don't tease me for getting involved in? An 850-day bear market, they say. It's been so long since you've seen a bull, they say. That you're terrified of one. Well, we'll show them. We'll show them all. Will a halving bring any relief? I think so, but maybe not in the way we expect. How mysterious. Stay tuned to find out what the hell I'm talking about. Welcome back to Crypto Daily, where I post 2 new videos every single day. YouTube servers struggle to keep up. And in case you're wondering what I'm doing outside, do not worry. This was pre-recorded before anyone knew anything about any virus. Past halvings in review then. No guarantee of future events, but it does give us an insight as to what may occur. The first one occurred November 2012. 2 months after the event, Bitcoin begins to rally. So early on in Bitcoin's history that its relevance is called into question because it was still somewhat difficult to purchase Bitcoin back then. However, second halving, July 2016, exact same thing happens. 2 months after the event, bulls began to take control of the market again. Common misconception, actually, that halving events take a long time to positively impact the Bitcoin price. Around 11 months after the fact to hit a new all-time high, yes, but the positive impact coming within just a couple of months, historically speaking. Take that for what you will. Why 2 months, though? More on that later. But pray tell, with such an obviously bullish event on the horizon, why is Bitcoin's price action so lethargic leading into it? Potentially for the exact same reasons that the halving is a bullish event in the first place. Miners. Imagine being a miner. You bought expensive equipment. You bought an expensive rig. You spent constantly on expensive electricity. Potentially, you could have just bought Bitcoin. And now your income is about to get slashed. It's a special kind of trolling, that. What we are looking at here is a pretty interesting chart. I always find kind of awkward saying that it's interesting. I think it is. I'm not trying to gaslight you into continuing to watch this video. Any figure above 100 means that the Bitcoin miners are selling more than they mine. It has been consistently above 100 since February. Does this make an impact on Bitcoin's price? Yes. Yes, it does. More than any other constituency in the market, miners have the biggest influence on price. Mining pools account for the highest percentage of total Bitcoin flowing into exchanges. Miners secure the network, yes. They process our transactions, very nice of them. But for positive price action, they are so annoying.
Oh, hi, thanks for checking in. I'm still a piece of garbage.
This also neatly provides an explanation as to why positive price action for Bitcoin does not begin immediately. We need to flush out the unprofitable miners who need to dump everything they have just to keep going or eventually fold. Once the flushing out of those miners is complete, the dumping of their stockpile is done, then we can start rallying, typically 2 months. But the implications of them selling more than they mine right now are interesting. Please keep watching. Generally speaking, miners stockpile in bull markets, sell in bear markets. Did I just get that wrong? Sorry. Miners stockpile in bear markets, sell in bull markets. But if that's the case, why aren't they hoarding now? Why are they selling more than they mine? Is that a sign that miners, of all people, expect the halving event not to be bullish for Bitcoin? Or are they just forced to sell right now because they need to stockpile cash in an uncertain time and against the day of unprofitability, potentially? Maybe both. I know Litecoin didn't have a great time of it post its halving event, but this coin is driven by even more speculation than Bitcoin is, I would say, so it might be difficult to compare the two. Apples and oranges, potentially. So maybe they're selling because of an economic crisis. Maybe. I think this post sums up the confusion everyone is facing quite well. The Dow's best week since 1938. And on the same picture, more than 16 million Americans have lost jobs in 3 weeks.
What? Okay, fine, I'm cool, I'm fine.
It's important to keep in mind, though, that you can have good weeks even in bear markets, especially after significant crashes. Yes, this is totally from stimulus packages, but the volatility we're seeing in the stock markets, generally speaking, is not a good sign. Anyway, ultimately, I think it comes down to this. On paper, there's no economic reason that the Bitcoin halving isn't going to lead into more positive and sustained uptrends for Bitcoin. However, there are market makers who know this and know that people will think like this and will want to take advantage of that situation. I have heard from a friend of mine who knows some institutional traders, the types of guys who trade with such large volumes that they get special deals from the exchanges that they trade on, where they get lower fees because they're providing so much liquidity. Anyway, they've said that they plan to short the Bitcoin halving. What? Their idea is that if they can force the price of Bitcoin down low enough, they might get some help from miners to bring it even lower. The types of guys, the miners who are already in difficult situations, if they need to capitulate because it's really not profitable because the price of Bitcoin is too low already and it gets lower, they will need to sell as well, and maybe, just maybe, they could force the price of Bitcoin significantly down. If they could pull this off, shorting Bitcoin could be very profitable with them, but it comes with massive economic risk. What if it doesn't work? I think one thing that these traders are hoping for is the same thing Arthur Hayes talks about in this post. The Bitcoin price could drop to the 3,000s in early 2020. As the US stock market sees another leg down, all asset classes could puke, causing Bitcoin price to correct. I touched on this more in the last video, but essentially a greater economy collapse, disappointingly, unfortunately, but still likely not have a positive impact on Bitcoin. Could be wrong about that, but that's what we've seen so far. The two seem closely correlated. Anyway, what am I trying to say? Am I really trying to say Bitcoin could go up or down right now? Because that's kind of what it sounds like. Yes, but let me be a little bit more specific. I think the halving will have a positive impact on Bitcoin. I think a big one, but not immediately. Not for several months after the fact, at least until some unprofitable miners are flushed out. I think a year after the fact, Bitcoin can and should be challenging new all-time highs again. However, I also think that Bitcoin is highly manipulated and there could be some pretty massive fireworks before then, so I have some bids set at $3,500. Do I expect them to get filled? No, I do not. But they are there just in case. Not financial advice, any of this. But let me know what you think. Is this a good theory? A crypto theory. Leave a like if you feel like it, much appreciated. And I'll see you in the next one.